we are going to get into the title topic of this stream. Dana White saying that his Mount Rushmore for the UFC is Jon Jones, Ronda Rousey, GSP, and Conor McGregor. Now, I do want to point out that, to me, the second best fighter of all time is left off the list in Demetrius Johnson, who was literally just inducted into the One Championship Hall of Fame. And then also, I think that Anderson Silva should probably be on this list as well, but I guess you have to pick four when you're looking at things from Dana White's perspective in terms of who grew the sport the most. Translation, his bank account. It's basically the four most profitable fighters in UFC history. I know there's some other guys that you could throw in the mix there, but in terms of very profitable for a long time, these four, it makes sense as to why Dana White would say that these are his guys, or guys and girl. I'm going to go through each one of these. I'm going to tell you guys who I think my Mount Rushmore is. Now, first off, Jon Jones, right off the bat, deserves a spot. If you want to excuse the PED failures, then I think he's the best fighter of all time. If you want to use those as like a minus on his legacy, then he's third best of all time. I made a video about it several months ago. I had GSP as the best fighter of all time. This was including the fact that Jon Jones had failed drug tests. It was GSP 1, Demetrius Johnson 2, Jon Jones 3, Anderson Silva 4. So Jon Jones deserves a spot for sure. Now, Ronda Rousey, this is where I have a little bit of a hang up here, because if you have to look at it, if you're talking about legacy, what Dana White said is that women wouldn't even be in the UFC if it wasn't for Ronda Rousey, which is true. So if you look at it through that lens, then yeah, Ronda Rousey definitely deserves a spot on the UFC Mount Rushmore. But if you're going off of longevity, talent, and competition that they faced, I'd say you have to put Demetrius Johnson or Anderson Silva in this spot. GSP, I think, deserves to be up here as well. To me, he's the best fighter of all time if you give Jon Jones the knocks for failing. And then who said, oh, Mount Gushmore, bro? What are you talking about? Let me look at my chat. Dana's Mount Gushmore, yeah. And then Conor McGregor. This I actually understand. He did get the sport to like mainstream level and take it to heights that it may have never gotten to without Conor being around. But still, from like a accomplishments in the sport, longevity in the sport, I probably would have swapped out Ronda Rousey and Conor for Demetrius Johnson and Anderson Silva. That's my take on it. But when you look at it from a promoter's perspective, when you look at it from Dana White's perspective, these are the people that grew the sport the most in terms of making it a bigger audience, bigger gates, more pay-per-view sales, bigger sponsorship numbers. He looks at it and because he has the actual intel, like the background knowledge of this person generates this much money for us. And so to him, he probably looks at it, or definitely in my opinion, looks at it as, look how much money these people generated. They are the ones who have the most legacy in the sport because they brought the most eyes to it and they grew the sport the most. Even though he selfishly would look at it from a financial perspective as well, the financial perspective is a good like gauge to see how someone grew the sport, because, you know, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. So that's my thoughts on Dana White's Mount Rushmore for the UFC. If you're going off of talent or like accomplishments in the sport, longevity, I probably swap out Conor and Ronda for Anderson Silva and Demetrius Johnson. But if you're talking about growing the sport, I'd say these four right here actually makes a lot of sense. So that's my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm going to check the chat too. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. It really helps me out a lot. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, then become a channel member today for access to members only live streams, vlogs, and some other members perks. So click the link in the description down below or the join button on our channel homepage to become a member today. If you're interested in some non-MMA content from me, go check out my personal channel, Wyatt's World, and go check out my weekly comedy podcast, What's Up Bro, with Wyatt and Bo. Both of those are linked in the description down below. Go watch this suggested video and we'll see you next time.